Hey, Stash Wyslouch here. Welcome to Quick Tips. Today we're going to talk about something called upper structures or extensions. There's going to be a subsequent workshop to this quick tip, which will expand on all the ideas and go much more in depth on how to practice and integrate them into your playing. But you have to be a patron on my Patreon page in order to access that workshop. So make sure to do that. I'm offering private lessons also, so if you want to get better at guitar, send me an email. All right, so the chord is a C7. Somebody looks at you to take a solo. So naturally, you play something that sounds good with it, a C. You want to keep the line going, so maybe you go up a third to an E. Nice, so far so good. This chord is C7, you've hit a C and an E. You go up another third to a G, nice. Why not go up another third to a B flat? Oh, interesting. We literally just outlined a C7 chord. We started on the most consonant note we could think of, C, and then we just went up in thirds. But why stop there? Let's keep going up a third. After a B flat, let's go up a third. It's going to be some sort of D. B, C, D. If you go back to Quick Tip 75, we talk about one idea on how to come up with scales if you know what chord you have to make a melody on. So to continue this structure, we're going to use the C Mixolydian scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat. After the B flat, we're going to go up a third. We're using the colors and tones from the C Mixolydian scale. So up a third from a B flat, we have a D. What is that relative to the C7? Well, since now we're in the nether regions of the second octave, we've gone beyond the first octave. We've crossed the next C and gone to the D. We're not going to call that a 2, we're going to call that a 9. So we're talking in this extension land, extending of arpeggios, the notes beyond the first octave will be referred to their value above the number 8. So a 2 becomes a 9. Let's keep going up. After the 9, it goes to an 11. C Mixolydian, we're going from a D to an F. Interesting. So put all 6 of those notes together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. How about after that F? Let's keep going up this logic. Another third. The A. It's not a 6, it's a 13 in this case. So if you go back to Quick Tip 95, we talk about all these consonant structures, these linear structures to spell out chords. For example, triads, seventh chords, tetrachords, etc. So this is kind of an expansion of that. So we can think of this 7-note structure as a nice consonant structure that we could impose onto a C7 chord. Especially if we started on that C and just go up. Our ear is accustomed to that C7 sound because the first 4 notes are a C7. And then there's these nice logical thirds that build on top of that. But it's 7 notes. It's a little clunky. If you're just playing East Tennessee blues, thing to just kind of throw in there. It occupies a lot of space and it occupies a lot of range. So why don't we just grab a piece of this 7-note structure? Say for example, going from the 5th to the 7th to the 9th. Hey, that sounds kind of cool, and it's a nice cute little 3-note structure. It's a triad, it's a G minor triad in fact. So architecturally, it jives with our ears. We're used to just hearing these nice triadic things. So even though we're a little bit beyond just the consonant notes that exactly spell out the C7 chord, there's some logic underpinning this that'll help us out when we start to construct lines implementing these new upper structures. So we discussed the logic. X7 chord, we built all the way up to a 13 chord, and then we grabbed just a piece of the 7-note structure and said, hey, that sounds good, is logical, and a nice bite-sized chunk that I could maybe mess around with. So we do a little analysis. What is that? On X7 chord, we're doing a Y minor triad that's going off of the 5th of X7. So let's take East Tennessee blues, which has a C7 chord, F7, a D7, and a G7. and calculate what our Y minor triad is for each one. On the C7, it's off of the G minor. Off the F7, it's a C minor. Off of D7, it's an A minor. Off of G7, it's a D minor. And first I just got to get into my fingers and eyes. So I just input it artificially, shoehorn it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the general idea. So that was the triads just going up. It's good to be able to visualize these structures going down. So now instead of starting on the 5th, you're going to be starting on the 9 or the 2 and going down a minor triad. Let's try that out through one time through the East Tennessee Blues. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. You could already just start improvising, combining those two. Listen to guys like Wes Montgomery, Grant Green. You're going to hear these upper structure things all over their playing. There's no reason you can't bring that in to your bluegrass jams. Let's do one more structure. How about the upper structure starting off the 7th and going up some thirds? Let's make 4 notes. So for example, C7, we'd start on a B flat. B flat, D, F, and A. Hey, interesting. That's basically a major 7 chord starting off of the flat 7. It's going to produce a really interesting kind of suspended, airy, and distant sound, but still sounds cool, I think. So on an F7, we'd just be playing an E flat major 7 arpeggio. So this upper structure highlights the flat 7, the 9, the 11, and the 13. Let's try that out against East Tennessee Blues. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love the way that sounds. Now we've just talked about one chord quality, C7, with one scale, C mixolydian. And this is just the bare bones logic behind the idea of arpeggio extensions or upper structures. If you want a much more detailed, lengthy, and interactive experience where we will talk about all this stuff, please become a patron on my Patreon page, where I will do a 1-hour workshop where we're going to expand on this idea in a big way. Different chord qualities, really discussing how to incorporate this into your natural playing style, and maybe some real-life examples so you get some inspiration from some of the masters. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'll see you next time.